The man literally gave years of his life. Yeah, it cost him years of his life.
But I feel like, and we were talking about this, I would get all godlike, but like, there's very few people that could have been put on this earth to go through what he had to go through. He
had a medal. He had a medal about it. Yeah.
So, and I know, I believe Ken Griffey Jr. was the one who brought this to the commissioner for every team to start wearing 42.
I mean, it's a really great idea. And like you said, everyone across the league wearing 42 on this day, so it's really cool.
He carried a weight, so many people didn't have to. How was your weekend, Robert?
It was good.
Wait, I know how your weekend was.
Well, I mean,
because on our group text, Robert sends these photos. J-Mac, do we have them?
Right.
This is so good.
Yeah, this is why I love the game. I'm basically, I'm out in the wilderness. I'm foraging for.
You're on the Oregon Trail.
I'm on the Oregon Trail.
What did you say on the text? It's kill or be killed out here.
These photos are from Estes Park, Colorado, a beautiful little town there. And there's just some elk there that we're driving through, and there's just elk just right outside our window, our car window. And yeah, there was a moment where it's kill or be
It's survival of the fittest.
The elk saw me.
He locked eyes?
Locked eyes, and he knew.
He knew you were no threat.
I had a terrible landing.
Don't even tell me this.
I'm not
tell
kidding.
me this.
Normally we make these up. This was real. What a beautiful night to fly. And then all of a sudden we got like into our descent, and you hear the landing gear come down.
Yeah.
And the nose like dipped up, and then he brought it back. Then landing gear went up and around a circle piece before I was like, yeah. Meanwhile, we're doing.
They get on the loudspeaker. They're like, we're fine. Are we fine?
I was sitting next. There was too many flight attendants for that jumper seat. So 1A, I was.
Well, that's
1B.
good, because if they're not worried, you're not worried, right?
She was walking me through. She's like, oh, I don't like this one.
Oh, yikes.
It was rough. There was lightning and everything going.
Yeah, and I landed a few hours after you.
You were all right.
And it was okay, but of course delayed. Shocking.
Standard.
Shocking.
While you were on your flight, hopefully you took in the last couple minutes of the Masters, and then you enjoyed some Sunday night baseball from Los Angeles, Padres, Dodgers, and it was San Diego first on a Manny Machado solo shot, scoreless in the top of the fourth until forcing fastball up and out.
How many walks did the Dodgers have?
14.
14, flip it.
Yeah. The last time the Padres had this many walks in a game, 1979 against the Pirates, and the game lasted 19 innings.
Dodgers tied up in the bottom half off Yu Darvish to put LA on the board. That's Will Smith. Freddie Freeman come on home, and the game tied at 1. Max Muncy made a really nice play in the field and then took care of business at the plate. Next batter, 2-run shot right field. A 6-pitch at bat. He pitched him everywhere. His 4th homer of the season. The Dodgers lead it 3-1. I love that camera shot. How good did this feel for Jurickson Profar, who earlier in the weekend was the subject of some harsh words, let his bat do the talking. He was asked about a comeback. We'll explain this coming up. He said, no thank you. Just a bases clearing double off the wall in center field. And the Padres lead at 6-3. Bottom of the 9th, same score. Last chance for Los Angeles. A game-ending double play, and the Padres win it 6-3. Here's Manny Machado after the win.
Yeah, it was great. This whole week we've been bouncing back, playing really good baseball as a group, and continue to do the things that we worked on in spring training and believing in each other. So we just keep believing and working every single day. There's a lot of things that we can get better at every single day. That's the beauty about baseball. It's 162 games. It's a long season, and it's a lot of work to get done. So this group of guys, man, we come in every day, we work, we have a good time, and at the end of the day, once 7 o'clock hits, we just go out there and compete.
Remember, they split with the Dodgers in Korea, and then they take 2 of 3 in Los Angeles. All right, we're in Cleveland.
So
you can't do that, Nestor.
Nestor Cortez.
You really can't. That should be illegal. I'm serious.
You can't. Are you saying you can't pump fake?
You can't pump fake.
You can't pump fake?
Everyone knows.
Nestor.
Oh, I love it.
3rd inning.
You're going to detention for that.
Aaron Judge. This is a 3-run homer, his 3rd of the season, and the Yankees, who were looking for the sweep, lead 3-0. We go to the home half of the 5th. Josh Naylor, friend of the program, ties the game at 4. Move to the home half of the 8th. Esteban Florial facing his former team, and you know that has to feel good. First go-ahead pinch hit homer in the 8th inning or later since September of 2013 for the Guardians. Anthony Volpe, yes, ties the game at 5. And then we go to extra innings. Anthony Rizzo, H to the Izzo, that's down the line. 7-4 New York, he's fired up. Home half of the 10th. These highlights are cut very tight.
Yeah, you better speed up.
Andres Jimenez
Stay with me.
with the game tied at 7. Guardians.
Put it in your pocket, Juan.
Walk it off. Florial had 1 career homer coming into this series. He hit 2 this weekend.
Ronald Acuna Jr. in the top of the 4th. Braves and Marlins. His necklaces are getting cooler. Like, they're more extensive.
You remember that one he wore at the All-Star game where it was a miniature version of him?
So ridiculous. He's the only one who could do it. He's so good. Braves extend their lead 5-1. The Marlins lost power in the offseason in the form of Jorge Soler, of course, but they had some nice at-bats on Sunday. A runner on second, Brian De La Cruz in the bottom of the 4th. RBI single to center, and the Marlins trail 5-3. Jesus Sanchez getting in on the action in the bottom of the 6th. The runner on second, and that'll do. That'll tie up the ball game at 5 runs apiece, an RBI single to center field.
I was watching this game in the airport, and I was thinking the Marlins are going to take 2 or 3 from the Braves. They're going to do it.
Think again, Nick Gordon.
These are the games that demoralize you.
This was after a pitching change. Camera goes up.
Oh, mommy.
And 2-run shot to right, but then the Braves took over. Miami has 3 wins on the season.
Yeah.
They took a 7-5 lead here, but Marcell Ozuna, this dude, batting .373.
The big bear.
22 hits, 7 home runs.
That's not a bad pitch.
It's not. And
7 home runs?
he had swung at the same pitch and missed the previous pitch.
Miami is there. Here he is post-game.
No, I just think he put in play, and the run is a second. He can run and he can score easily. I just don't put the ball in play, then I make a good contact. That's why I get the result. First one, no, because I feel like I hit a little out of the balance, and the second one I thought I got it. And this one, I don't even know. I just think he hit the wall, and that ball gone. Because we play together, we always unity, and if I can do it, if I didn't do it, someone behind it can do it, and then that's how we play. A smart team, play good teams.
He's got a 13-game.
Bring it out to the digs.
Let's go.
The only game he has not gotten a hit in
You said this
was on opening day. He has hit in every game since
They wanted
then.
to run him out of town
this time last year.
He was hitting .085, and then he went berserk. Okay, so over the weekend, I wanted to bring you guys out to the digs, and we'll kind of overview
I like what you've done with the place.
It really is. We put the jukebox in here.
Yeah, since we don't use it anymore.
I know that's
Wait, why aren't we
that
not
segment
using
went
it
by
anymore?
because we couldn't get any song cleared.
Yeah,
Lauren.
it's kind of an administrative.
When I give my heart to this segment and I get told no, and then I end up with some garbage song,
Hi.
I don't want to do it. So,
Okay.
all right, let's start. Let's broad brush the Dodgers Padres.
Okay.
Because there's a couple things that went on. First off, you know how I feel about Fernando Tatis.
I like
And on Friday, he took a backup slider from Ryan Brazier. He owns Dodger Stadium, by the way. .314 batting average with 11 homers, 22 RBIs, and .981 OPS in 31 games. Did you see that pitch? That's a 2-0 count, backed up. Normally, that curveball is going away from you, and he's going to get a little frontward lean. He stays all over that. And then another thing that caught my eye Friday night, we talked about Jackson Churio, Jackson Holiday.
Nice
There's a
play.
guy playing center field at 20 years old for the Padres named Jackson Merrill that is doing his thing. Big, huge knock in the top of the 11th on an 0-2 pitch right there to seal the win for them. So I wanted to give him some love because he's gotten off to a nice start, and it is not easy to be a shortstop your whole life and them go, hey, go play center field in the big leagues. Now, this Let's dive in on this a little bit. First off, Gavin Stone is not trying to hit jerks and Profar.
He's got a perfect game going, right?
So I don't understand what Profar's doing except to try and spark his boys.
He's just fired up.
The only problem is you got Will Smith behind home plate, and he don't play that.
No, he doesn't.
With 140 million gigantic in the bank, he doesn't play it.
I don't understand Will Smith.
I don't understand.
He's quiet, but then he's got edge.
Okay, so I like that. I'm going to take you back. WBC against Mexico, which, mind you, Mexico throttled us that night. But Randy Arozarena walks to the plate. We'll get into it in a second, because none of this made sense, right? Here we go. Hey, give me Nux, stat me up right here. Nothing. Crickets. And I'm sitting there with Pettit. I'm like, is there something we should know? I go, Will, what's going on? He's like, no. Why am I giving the opponent Nux to start a baseball game? Lauren.
You see it on First all the time. I mean, anyone who comes to Freddie Freeman gives him
But he's the catcher, right? And it's
I like it. It's just different.
It's different. It's different.
Hey, Will, don't change. I'm in.
Yeah.
We're in.
And I get what Profar was trying to do, too.
Real quick, how important was that weekend for the Padres?
Huge.
Yeah.
I think the NL West is like, you can make the argument it's the toughest division. I know Colorado takes it on the chin, but we have no idea who's going to finish second behind the Dodgers. It's going to be tough. All right. Ozuna. Can we dive in on how good he's been? We're going to rip, and he makes me laugh. His home run trots, I don't think he knows, he blacks out and just starts doing hand gestures and signs that don't make sense to anybody. So 0-2, Tanner Scott, he's going to hit this good pitch right here out to left center, and then he's going to give me like a birdie coming around first. I don't know what that represents. And then we're spinning something, and then he's going to do the Jazz Chisholm Euro step. Watch. Layup off the backboard. But he has been, and I'm telling you, I live in Atlanta. They were trying to run this guy out of town for some off-the-field stuff and for not producing on the field. But ever since last year, right around August, you can make the argument he's been the most productive hitter in the entire sport. Look at this.
Wow.
MLB ranked since the start, August 2023. Homers 1, ribbies 1, OPS 1.
He said Miami raised me, so it was important for him to do that there. Look at those ranks.
And I still go back to that trade. I know it has nothing to do with this, but I mean, we traded, he went to the Cardinals for Sandy Alcantara and Zach Gallen. 2 number 1s.
Yeah.
How we doing? Okay. Kutch, we're going to give you some love. 300 pounds.
Yeah, congratulations.
One of the best players of a generation, really, for like a 10, 15-year stretch. And what I love about Kutch, right, I know he came back for the 300 homer, but he also came back to kind of be that pillar for the young bucko crew. And I just wanted to go back in time, take a look at his first homer, look at him eating it up. He was loved in Philly. There's his first homer against Francisco Liriano back in the day. Looking thin. The swing hasn't changed much. I'm going to show you his 100th homer as well. God, he wrapped that top hand, lightning bat speed. 100th homer there in American Family Field. Kutch has been doing it a long time. He was a 2013 NL MVP. One of 19 players with 2,000-plus hits, 300-plus homers, 200-plus stolen bases.
It was a really human moment after the game. He said in Philly he was making $20 million. He didn't feel like he did right by the fans. That's such a human moment for a star, right? So he said it was nice.
And a Pirate fan, caught the ball, and they had a nice moment after the game. Gave him the ball back.
Yeah, they didn't want anything. Yeah. Look at this. War leaders, I fight nays on war because I want someone to come out and actually show me. It's blending everything, but what's a replacement player look like? No one's proven that yet. But from 2011 to 2015, Trout, Cabrera, McCutch.
Wow.
Okay, so he's the best player in the National League for a good 5-year window, which is pretty impressive. So I wanted to give him some run. And we'll finish it up with your team, because I think they might have weathered the storm. We're going to get Verlander back, Fromber.
This was a big weekend for them to take 2 of 3.
When? Friday?
Pause this real quick.
Is that Friday?
Yeah.
I just want to take you through why this guy. First off, Nate Eovaldi, you know how I feel about you. I'll take you any day of the week and twice on Sunday.
Nate is one of the best.
Altuve comes up, we got to walk him. He's got 7 bombs off him.
Yeah, that's the most home runs Altuve has against any other pitcher in the game.
And one of them was 0-2 and one of them was 3-0.
That's what we're going to show right here. Lauren, watch this. So run it. 0-1. So now you're thinking 0-2, let me just waste a pitch at his neck, up and in. Got him. Leaked out a little bit over the plate. He swings it literally the rosin bag. If the guy turned around and threw the rosin bag at him, he'd take a hack at it. Now he's got him 3-0 in a 1-0 game. He's not swinging. Let me steal a strike. Train tracks.
Yeah.
I mean, 7 home runs against one pitcher's doing it. I know Brian McCann, my buddy's got crazy numbers against Ricky Nolasco, and we had this kind of running joke that, those are the guys that build your house.
And Nate Eovaldi is one of the best big game pitchers of this generation. So
The guys that build your house.
You got to own somebody. 2024, Jose Altuve, 382, 5 bombs, 7 RBIs in 17 games. He's got 7 homers and a 792 slug against the Baldy.
he's been really good.
And he's been the 3rd best hitter in the sport since 2022, behind Judge and his teammate.
Yeah. Let me.
Jordan.
Can I borrow that real quick? I want to show you something that happened
Here we go.
at Dodger Stadium. Now, this is Manny Machado last night going deep off James Paxton.
Okay.
And then nice catch. I would prefer that you do that barehanded, sir. But
What do we got? Oh, geez.
yeah, he threw a fake ball. Whatever. He thought he was. See, he thought he was.
Listen, I love it, but I don't understand what.
Yeah. So there you go. That was just one thing that I noticed.
That's what they did in Wrigley all the time. They didn't want to,
Yeah.
Does that chap you?
What?
You see Manny hit his home run, I think, on Friday night and look back. There's
heat between these two.
There's heat.
Yeah.
And that's
And I love it. That's why whenever the Dodgers and Padres are playing, I'm in.
Okay.
I'm in. So, all right, let's go to break. When we come back.
I'm going to read you a quote later.
Okay. Let's go to the express train. Let's go to Baltimore, where the Brewers had a chance to sweep the Orioles, facing their former teammate Corbin Burns, and William Contreras greets him with his 4th home run of the season.
Hayes, William Contreras needs a sky bomb.
This had to feel good. Jackson Holiday, there it is, his first career MLB knock. Congratulations, Jackson. Move to the bottom of the 8th, Colton Cowser.
This dude.
Colton Cowser has hit his first 4 career home runs in his last 4 games. So that gives the Orioles a 6-4 lead. Craig Kimbrell strikes out Sal Frelick to end it, and the Orioles get a win. This was a very entertaining series. 6-4 yesterday against Milwaukee. Giants Rays.
Look here.
Blake Snell facing his former team, the Tampa Bay Rays, for the first time yesterday, and Ahmed Rosario, 2-run homer. First home run of the season for Rosario. It's 3-1 Tampa Bay, and Snell facing Rene Pinto.
Now, Snell got going last year when he faced the Rays. That kind of jump-started his Cy Young run.
Yeah, he gave up 7 earned in 4 innings, and the Rays had a 7-1 lead. Pinto was not done. Second of the day, it's 8-2. Then in the 7th, Isaac Paredes. If it's a homer, you know it's a pull-side homer.
Go throw the ball away to that guy.
5th home run of the year. Rays go on to win 9-4. Snell has allowed 10 earned run in his first 7 innings as a Giant. Cubs, Mariners in Seattle.
Hey.
Cody Bellinger
Mike
facing Luis Castillo.
Someone else did that.
Oh, Castillo throwing error.
Welcome to the club, Mike.
Here comes Seiya Suzuki, 1-0.
Waters.
Michael Busch.
Got it.
You talk about a good acquisition for the
I just
Cubs,
like the fact that Craig Counsell, he played unbelievable and
2-run homer.
Won the job. Former first-round pick.
Jorge Polanco, 2-run homer, cuts the lead to 3-2. All right, so it's bottom of the 9th.
Pick him off.
Julio Rodriguez pinch running for the Mariners, and he's picked off. Albert Alzolay.
Pinch running.
He's ruled safe.
Not ready to go.
Cubs challenging the call, and it's overturned. That's the ball game. Cubs win 3-2. Michael Busch, by the way, has homered in 4 straight games.
Tough when you give a star a day off and then ask him to go in.
This guy said he was grinding.
Cardinals, Diamondbacks,
Gallen
Zach
said
Gallen
I'm grinding?
facing Brandon Crawford.
Doesn't look that way.
I love his shoes.
Next batter, Michael Ciani, grounds out to first. Gallen's able to get out of the inning. Jake McCarthy. Jake from Rake Farm.
Tailback, Scranton.
It's a double to left.
What's
to
she
the left.
wearing?
Yeah, Diamondbacks up 2-0. Corbin Carroll plates 2 more. It's now
It might be
4-0.
the best commercial of all time.
Gallen facing
No?
Wilson Contreras. That ball is well struck, but there is so much speed. There is so much speed in that outfield. It's almost like a no-fly zone. Great catch by McCarthy. Gallen, 6 innings, 7 strikeouts, no runs. Diamondbacks blank the Cardinals 5-0. Zach Gallen, former Cardinal. Rockies, Blue Jays, Justin Turner.
Everybody's a former Cardinal.
Yeah, good call. Justin Turner. In the last 2 series, he's 9 for 16 with 3 doubles and 3 ribs. Justin Turner again. That's down the lane. Here comes Vlad Guerrero Jr.
Right.
Yep.
Confident.
This is the
One button.
Justin Turner Blue Jayography here. Turner again.
Fakes. Look at him.
Look at him.
4-0. More than enough for Jose Barrios. 7 innings, 7 strikeouts, lowers his ERA to 1.05. He has 4 straight quality starts to start the year and has a scoreless streak of 15 2/3. Blue Jays beat the Rockies 5-0. And here's some more information on Jose Barrios, and they've needed it. You know, Kevin Gausman didn't have, his greatest outing over the weekend, but Barrios, as we said, 4 straight quality starts to start the year and a scoreless inning streak that has now run to 15 2/3 innings as the Blue Jays beat the Rockies yesterday in Toronto. All right, Dero.
Got to give him love.
Yeah, we've talked about Jose Barrios. The stuff has been top-notch and quality for a while now. And we've been wondering, the question has been, okay, when is he going to take that next step? He was excellent in that playoff game, and it got taken out, and that's been definitely litigated and talked about a lot. But what'd you see from
We're going to bring it back.
Oh, okay, good. Definitely. Let's do
Lauren,
that.
why do we love Jose Barrios?
I'll tell you why. Because he had a clunker, and he came in through the Lincoln Tunnel in the pouring rain
The next day.
day after his start, and we will forever love him.
He got his brains beat in at Yankee
To visit us
Stadium.
on
I
MLB
thought he was
Central.
going to cancel. He was here with a smile on his face.
Smile.
Former shortstop. So we're all in. So I don't normally do pitching breakdowns.
Yes.
So I'm gonna see if there's like a former guy who threw 100 miles an hour, maybe back behind the skybox that come help. Oh, there he is. Old Danny, please. Here we go.
We get to talk about this guy.
And I know you talked to Buck
Love him.
Martinez about him.
Love him.
Come on.
Yeah.
What did Buck have to say?
He says he's the ultimate teammate. You can bank him in. 32 starts a year. He's changed his game. He was a guy that was a 4-seam fastball, overhand curveball, using the sinker, the 2-seamer up and down in the zone. Changed his whole game.
All right, let's get into it. Because I want to tell people in a game of high velocity, 4-seam breaking ball, living north-south, okay, I'm going to take you back to 2023, wild card, game 2. This guy is absolutely dominant. Pause this real quick because I want to set the scene. He's a former first rounder by Minnesota, and he went back there. So you know there was an axe to grind. He wanted to post, and he was dominant. And he got the moment stolen from him.
It was almost like the Blue Jays were headset. They were set on. They were getting a reliever in that game.
No matter what, he was facing 12 hitters, and he was coming out of
he was
that
done.
game. All right? Keep running it. So I know he came into this season, and John Schneider, whether it was analytics, whether it was a managerial move, it was the wrong move. And it's been chronicled. But he showed up this spring. Kevin Gausman goes down, little hiccup early, and he gets the opening day start. And I just want to take you, he was dominant again. He didn't have his A-game stuff, I thought, yesterday, but dominant again. We're going to take you through some ABs. Pause it. Bring up his pitch percentage usage. So lock in on the sinker slurve versus the 4-seam change, okay? From 2019 to 2022, he was about a 56 to 43, okay? Take a look on Sunday. He has gone heavy sinker slurve, and he has gone away from the 4-seamer change. Even to left-handed hitters, we're going to bring up a McMahon at bat here in a second. So what does that do? In a game of high velocity, north-south, right? The plate is 17 inches. I talk about this all the time, and Danny, you can jump in. 17 inches. If that's all I had to cover, north-south, I feel like you could shoot it out of a gun and eventually we'll get to it. I know the elevated heaters worked in today's game of guys wanting to dip and drive, but there is a place, and I think it's coming back for a lot of guys, where expanding the plate and giving that visual of turning 17 inches into 20, 22 inches with a sinker slider is just as nasty, and he's proven it.
I think the game's best pitchers, when DeGrom is healthy, when Cole is healthy, those two guys, they can ride the four-seamer up, the two-seamer down. But what Barrios has done, he'll use that two-seamer up. It's not Greg Maddux. Greg Maddux perfected that pitch where he could start it at a left-hander's hip and bring it back out. Also, he would start the ball 4 or 5 inches off to a righty. You give up on that thing, and he brought it back over the plate.
Yep.
That's what he's doing. But he's doing it with the two-seamer. Normally, you would think that's a pitch that you want to use down in the zone. He'll run the two-seamer up and away to righties and lefties.
All right, bring up two ABs for me. Ryan McMahon, gotten off to a nice start with the Rockies. And just take you through how a sinker-slider combo, he's going two-seamer away right there, then a nasty slurve. Then he hangs a slurve in the middle of the plate, and now he sets up, watch, he turns this plate from 17 inches into 24. So Ryan McMahon gives up on this paralyzer. He thinks that ball, run that back for me real quick. And the only kind of example, pause it, I can give you is when I faced Mariano Rivera for the first time in Yankee Stadium and he threw the cutter, I literally was like, oh my God, that's gonna hollow out my ribs. And it was a strike. So if you watch Ryan McMahon, he actually is like, man, this ball might clip me. Run it. He's like, ugh. Strike three. Now you're like, oh God, where am I supposed to go? And that's, Dan, pause this and bring up the board against left-handers. Because normally you'd ride the four-seamer, right? You don't want the two-seamer sinking into a lefty's barrel from a right-hander. It's an easier pitch for a lefty to handle, but he's gone back to it. Sinker slurve usage versus left-handed hitters, 72, 73% when it was 45.
What also helps him is he changes speeds on that breaking ball, right? So he has that slurve that McMahon has to worry about that ball that comes down and in on him, right? So you're like, okay, all of a sudden, then he starts that two-seamer. You can't recognize it till too late. You think, oh, that's going to be that cutter in on me, right? And all of a sudden, boom, he brings it back over the
All right, bring me up a right-hander, AB. Brenton Doyle, right here. You're going to get slurve, 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 slurve.
But see, that's 81. But he changes speeds with that slurve. There's 79. He adds and subtracts off of it.
Keep throwing it. 80. Stay with it. Why would you deviate? 4 in a row, 2-2. So you're sitting slurve, right? Here he goes. This doesn't even have to be a good two-seamer. He's got him so focused on the outer half of the plate. See you later.
Boom. 93 with sink.
This was my nightmare two-seamer because of this. That stupid ground out to third base every time, because if I'm hitting off a four-seam fastball, Dan, and it's on plane, I know if I take my hands to it, the barrel's replacing it and I'm on time. And I'm gonna square it up. When I face that two-seamer and it's moving and my hands, and I get jammed and ground out to third, I literally wanted to like run down a first base and just clock the first base.
What he's doing now isn't easy to do. That's like when you've been around for a little bit of while, you start experimenting, changing breaking ball speed, moving the two-seamer in and out. You're not afraid to throw it to a lefty and to say, hey, I'm going to ride that same one in on a right-hander, and I'm going to jam him with it. You can't be afraid to do it, and that's where he's at now.
And in a game right now, and I get it, it stinks for the game. A lot of starters are going down, big stars.
This guy, 32 starts a year, pencil him in.
He goes to the post. Now, is that genetics? I don't know. Is that That gets a lot.
I think it's
But that's
both.
why Kyle Gibson keeps getting deals.
You're right.
Dan,
That
what do
man
you
goes
think?
to the post.
Mechanics or what?
It's mechanics, understanding your body, understanding what to do between starts, not to overthrow,
Some
not
luck
to over.
in there.
Oh, absolutely, and it is. And you've seen guys, you see guys with great mechanics. You look at a guy like Jacob deGrom, right? You watch him throw. It is the most effortless 98 to 101.
You would think
How does this guy ever get hurt? Maybe there's just too much strength or too much arm action in that body for him to be able to do this. But this guy posts up every 5
Every
days.
time. We love him.
And as Nays just mentioned in my ear, you're healthy until you're not. I mean, because Garrett Cole's on that list. Justin
Garrett
Verlander.
Cole's got perfect body, perfect
100%.
mechanics. No one's more prepared.
Yeah. Well,
lot of variables.
speaking of pitching injuries, on the other side here, when we come back on MLB Central, JP Morosi is.
Lauren, good morning. And I want to highlight one aspect of Jackie's legacy that we maybe should learn all over again today. And it was written about by Sweeney Murdy at MLB.com that Jackie Robinson actually has 2 plaques in the Hall of Fame plaque gallery. The first plaque, of course, unveiled at his original induction, but then a later one in 2008 that more fully captured his role in changing our country and our game when he integrated Major League Baseball back in 1947. So again, that plaque was unveiled in 2008. A beautiful story written by our friend Sweeney Murdy at MLB.com. So I highly recommend that bit of education and celebration on this Jackie Robinson
I did
Day.
not know that. Thanks for sharing. We wear these pins in Jackie's honor, JP. I opened up my email this weekend and suspicion confirmed Spencer Strider undergoing Tommy John surgery. 12 to 14 months is the timetable. Now what for the Atlanta Braves?
Well, what today will be Darius Vines making the start for the Atlanta Braves. He'll fill in for Strider today. But I think, Lauren, it's going to be a larger conversation about how the Braves can collectively make up for someone who has been an absolute strikeout machine
What's your answer
in
to
Major
that?
League Baseball over the last couple of years. So I think Sale needs to be a little bit sharper and maybe even that ace level for him. He's been great so far this season, I think, overall, but he can be a little bit better. Max Fried, you see his ERA, not very much Max Fried-like to begin the year. I think he can be better as well. We may also see Bryce Elder step back into this rotation. A.J. Smith-Shawver could have a role as well. You see Alan Winans has already made his start. Waldrop could certainly have a role on this team going forward. But for the Atlanta Braves to become the team that we believe they can be, I think they need a little bit more from a lot of these names. Lopez has been probably the sharpest Braves starter to begin the season. But again, I think Darius Vines gets his chance to make the start today on Jackie Robinson Day. But I think this bit of adversity for the Braves, Spencer Strider being out for the entire season, it's going to take a collective effort by the Braves to make up for his absence.
Plenty of time to fill the void, that's for certain. Health is wealth, and if any team knows pitching injuries, it's Robert's Houston Astros. I hear help is on the way in the form of first ballot Hall of Famer. Tell me more. It's the best kind of help, by the way.
Justin Verlander. Justin Verlander. The expectation, Lauren, he will be back and make his first start of the season later on this week. That is very good news indeed for an Astros team that has gotten off to, candidly, a very slow start. They also believe Framber Valdez could be back at some point in time before the month is over. Verlander did, you see the highlights there, make his most recent minor league rehab outing. He gave up 6 runs, 5 earned, so not quite Verlander-esque to begin that rehab start, but I would expect once the bright lights turn on and he's back in the show, we'll see a lot from number 35, Justin Verlander, making his way back. But here's what you see in terms of their rotation options. Actually, Spencer Arrighetti will start against the Braves tonight against Vines, so a pretty interesting start there for both teams in a showcase game here on Jackie Robinson Day. But there you see the difference. The number of notable names who are still on the IL. McCullers is not yet close to coming back. Urquidy's, his early season absence has really precipitated a lot of conversation about where that rotation is right now. So, Lauren, I think a big start for Arrighetti tonight, and they hope that JV comes back in and pitches like his Hall of Fame self later on
That
this week.
right-hand column is insane. The Astros hosting the Braves tonight, as you said, and we will bring you the Clubhouse edition to you. What a crew this is. CCCY, Adam Jones, and the Queen, Sierra Santos. Can't wait to watch it tonight on MLB Network. We were talking pitching injuries, JP, and somewhere the Dodgers are going, what about us? Walker Buehler at the top of the list, because I remember covering the Dodgers in the division series last year, and there was a pinch of hope that he would pitch then. Any updates?
Right. Well, Walker Buehler, Lauren, he's not going to be able to necessarily make his next turn in the major leagues because he was all set to potentially do that. Then he took a comebacker off of his hand. They had to be a little bit cautious to make sure he's ready to go. So he'll probably make one more start in the minor leagues. So Buehler is close, but not there yet. And now, as you see on your screen, Bobby Miller lands on the IL with a shoulder issue. So, Lauren, we talk about the Dodgers so much, and here's been their core 5 starting pitchers to date. But let's remember, Yamamoto is on basically a 6-day rotation because of his adjustment coming over from Japan. So the Dodgers, unlike most teams, need not 5 starters, but 6. And now without Miller, they're down to 4, with Buehler not quite ready to go. So we'll probably see Yarborough make an opener, or he'll be the bulk guy. They've done some different arrangements where Ryan Brazier has started a game and they brought in Yarborough. But this is a story worth following because, as we know, Kershaw is not ready yet. They'll probably have to call someone up from the minor leagues. As dominant as this roster looks, they really haven't been at full strength yet. And with Miller on the IL, they're not at full strength now. There's a reason why several teams to start the year have a better overall record than the Dodgers. Certainly they've gotten off to a good start, but it has not been a fully dominant start because I think of the issue that we just saw on the screen a moment ago. Yamamoto, after that first rocky start in Seoul, has gotten better since then. But this is not yet the full powerhouse Dodgers that we're expecting to see. And with the Miller injury, Lauren, it's getting increasingly complicated for Dave Roberts, Mark Pryor, and the Dodger coaching staff.
But what a beautiful start by Tyler Glasnow in Dodger Blue.
Yes.
He goes tonight on MLB Network late night. JP Morosi, happy Jackie Robinson
Lauren.
Day. Thank you so much.
Same to you. All the
Appreciate
best.
it. Robert, take it away.
I think one of the coolest gestures, too, retiring number 42.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that was one of the great things that this sport has done.
It's an honor for all the players. They always say it to wear number 42 on their jersey.
You know, Tim Kirkshin, who I used to work with, said one thing that always struck me, that stuck with me. He says, what I love one of the many reasons I love baseball is because I'm going to go to a game and there's a chance I'll see something that I've never seen before. I have never seen what Nestor Cortez did
He has never seen
yesterday.
it.
Right?
Dan Plesac, what do you think this is?
I saw this and I was like,
Don't say
how can that
no.
be legal? It's a pump fake.
He's a showman.
Well, the guy in Kansas City the other day against Glaber stepped off, then stepped on windup, and Angel Hernandez popped him.
I saw that.
That's a whole nother bag of issues.
I love watching Nestor pitch, though, because he
Can't do that.
It's theater.
I
It's
said,
theater.
I asked him, I said, Nestor, do you know what you're doing before each pitch? He said, no, I just go with it.
I love it.
There was like 2 years ago at Fenway, he almost fell over.
Yes. You know how good a core and a balance you have to be able
Remember,
to do that?
he was one of our best guests.
Yes. No, we love Nestor. But, yeah, I would love to, we got a lot of amateur umpires out there. But, yeah, I would love to hear from the crew chief.
But kids at home, Dan, you could speak to this. This is what you talk about being balanced over the rubber. No, I mean,
The only way you could do that is if you're balanced.
Right.
And that's a hard thing to do because when you get your delivery, you're going to get started. You want to deliver that ball to home plate, right? You're getting all your momentum going. That's not an easy thing to do.
The Yankees did lose to the Guardians, unable to pull off the sweep as they lose in extra innings.
They're in
the Guardians.
Toronto.
That's right. Interesting series against the Blue Jays beginning. All right, let's go front and center, show you what you may have missed over the weekend. On Sunday, Andrew McCutchen, another milestone moment for him. Career home run number 300. Boy, that's a good-looking swing.
what was his nickname? Uncle something? God, Nays, what was that? He played
Uncle Cutch. I don't know. Pirates beat the Phillies 9-2.
Uncle Larry? Something there.
Definitely wasn't Uncle Larry.
Uncle Larry.
It was Uncle Larry.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Interesting. Hey, let's go to Dodger Stadium. Padres, Dodgers. San Diego takes 2 of 3 from the Dodgers. Remember, they opened the season splitting 2 games in Seoul, and then they go to Dodger Stadium and take 2 of 3. Jurickson Profar bases clearing double. He was involved in a little bit of a fracas over the weekend against the Dodgers, but San Diego beats Los Angeles by the final of 6-3. The Astros take 2 of 3. They win back-to-back home games for the first time since early September of last year. Jose Altuve hit 2 home runs off Nathan Eovaldi. He has 7 career homers off Eovaldi. That is the most home runs he has against any single pitcher. Astros beat the Rangers 8-5.
I mean, you just drill them.
But
No,
now,
you walk him.
but now the Astros have to deal with the Atlanta Braves. Marcell Ozuna with the Braves down to their final strike. A 3-run homer in the 9th to give them the comeback win over the Marlins.
I'm going to get
9-7.
mentioned about the WBC now with Altuve. I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, well, it's okay.
Sorry.
It was in jest.
It wasn't jest.
Yankees, Guardians. How about some small ball here? They used that small ball approach to score 3 runs in the bottom of the 10th to avoid the sweep. They walk off the Yankees 8-7 in 10. The Brewers were looking for a sweep of the Orioles. The Brewers offense has been quite prolific. Jackson Holliday, congratulations. He gets his first major league base hit. His family was there. Cal Ripken was there. Colton Cowser was definitely there. He hit another home run. Who?
They call him the milkman.
Why is that? Okay. Orioles
Everyone knows.
beat the Brewers 6-4. Jose Barrios. He is building a strong case for the first Pitch Hand Award winner for the month of April. 7 strong innings, struck out 7, allowed just 2 hits. Blue Jays beat the Rockies, shut them out 5-0. Royals, Mets. Before the game, Dwight Gooden.
A great job.
Yeah, getting his number 16 retired as he is inducted into the Mets Hall of Fame. And Edwin Diaz records the save. Maybe it's fitting that on a day that Dwight Gooden has his number retired, we get a pitcher's duel. Mets beat the Royals by the final of 2-1. So
lock in.
Yeah, look at some of these numbers here for the great Dwight Gooden. In 1984, he arrived like a comet. National League Rookie of the Year. In 1985, he had maybe, arguably, the best pitching season by any pitcher of all time. When the
Bob Gibson, they had to lower the mound, and then Doc Gooden goes out and dominates.
He was a 2-time World Series champion, 194 wins.
Dan, I think of
He's 20 years old. So think about it. Ron Jackson Holiday, Jackson Churio, all these guys at 20 years old. New York, 24-4 with a 1.53, punched out 268 in 276 and 2/3 innings.
At age 20.
Let's go, Ed. Do people remember the wind? This is an icon of my childhood. He had a mural on 42nd Street as you headed into the Lincoln Tunnel.
I mean, you're talking about
Look at the breaking ball.
the ultimate pitcher's body, too. I mean, you look at this guy and you're like, man, if you wanted to build a pitcher to what he would look like body type, that's it right there. That is like as great a pitcher's body as you'll ever see.
And you talk about just like flash and charisma and just October 2nd, 1985, big spot here against Terry Pendleton, my old hitting coach. Just take you through. I just wanted to show you at his height. Terry staying short right there. Nasty breaking ball. 1-1 count. Heater up in the zone. Maybe he tunnels another breaking ball off it. Maybe. Fouled it off. TP, former NL MVP, by the way. Put him away. Uh-oh, here we go. We're in a full-on battle. High gas, TP number 9 all over it. And he stays up there, but he was tunneling that four-seamer breaking ball without even knowing it. Bring up the board. Take a look at this. Lowest single-season ERA in live ball era since 1920.
Age 20.
Look at Bob Gibson. I know the mound was super elevated, right?
304 innings.
What do we do? At 32 years old, right? Greg Maddux, 1994, $1.56. Maddux is on here twice. But Dwight Gooden, $1.53, 276 innings. Dwight, by the way, had 16 complete games that year as well.
Yeah. Dwight Gooden to me was one of those guys when I played. There were like a handful of guys that when they pitched, you were all like Roger Clemens, Pedro Martinez. Like even when on his comeback when he was with the Yankees, I was on some of those Blue Jays teams.
Yeah.
To see him on the mound, you would have flashbacks. Like you would see the Yankees uniform, but I still pictured him wearing that number 16.
And he said that yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
He always wanted to come back. So
I mean,
just an iconic windup. Run this real quick. That's what I loved about it. Like this high leg kick in between his hands. Woof.
I mean,
look at it.
Look at the leverage that he creates, like that downhill plane. Look at that overhand, almost 3. Look at the spin on that curveball right there. I mean, and he had big hands, so he could really spin that breaking ball. He had really good leverage.
Nice job, Mets. Nice job, Steve Cohen. And they're going to retire Darryl Strawberry's number later in the summer.
And he deserves to have his retired too.
When you say it still plays today, what do you mean by that?
I think for me, he was one. Well, first off, he's one of the greatest to do it in his span of time. For me, this stuff plays. There's no trickery right here. I got elevated four-seamer. I got breaking ball off it. He's got all quadrants covered.
In a day and age now where a lot of younger hitters, they want to swing up at the ball, right? There's no money to be made hitting the ball on the ground.
Yeah.
It played right into his hands because he could elevate the four-seam fastball. What has made DeGrom and Scherzer and Garrett Cole different than everybody else? Because they can do things with the ball. They can ride that up 96 to 98.
Yeah.
That's what he could do, and good breaking stuff to go along with it.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to bring up vintage there.
No, it's
like
it's
right
great.
in my prime.
It's great. And you know what? There had to be some healing there on both parties. There was a lot of stuff that happened with Dwight Gooden, but all that is this is a nice fitting close to a great career.
Welcome back to MLB Central. We are presented by Hyundai.
There was an eclipse. Did you guys?
I checked it out. I didn't have any glasses on.
It's not what happened.
A ladder?
No, it's not a ladder, dude.
No?
No. It's the Eiffel Tower. You'll see. That's
The Eiffel Tower?
That's not the Eiffel Tower.
I know. You know.
This is a damn good dog.
Really?
Every one of my pitches, the slider, the fastball, split.
They got that dog in him.
He has definitely looked directly into it.
No doubt. Numerous times.
Look at it.
Really good.
You got a little something right there.
Matt Quattro's barbecue spot is getting rave reviews.
What has been working right for you?
A little healthy competition, within the rotation. It's been really fun.
If someone told you, James, you look like Willy Wonka, would you take that as a compliment?
Tyler doesn't need that.
I guess it depends what Willy Wonka you're talking
That's right.
about.
I mean, if someone says you look like Timothy Chalamet, you're taking that.
A 4-shot latte really gets you going.
A 4-shot latte.
latte.
Who's that? Hold on. Left foot on the bag. He gives me that flip. Boom. I'm here. All right, we're in the eclipse. The bat is almost bending. Instead of casting and getting the barrel out there, he is creating crazy lag.
Really good.
I got 2 little kids, 3.5 and 1.5, so we just tear up the zoo here.
The bad news is those glasses that Mad Dog was using were 3D movie glasses, so they did not work. So he is blind.
Yeah.
The Eiffel Tower gives me.
Yeah, that was a good
time.
He was so
He's like,
serious.
it's not a ladder. You're the idiot.
Eiffel Tower. There's not a person in the world who got Eiffel Tower.
Out of that garage.
Because you married
No
in France?
I had the answer in front of me and did not know what
I
that
did not
Then he
know.
put 2 people on the side for scale.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what he was doing with those.
They were on a date at the Eiffel
so good.
Tower, Paris. Anybody? Let's round the bases together and stop, gentlemen, in Cobb County, Georgia, where we learned over the weekend Spencer Strider had an internal brace procedure, making him out 12 to 14 months is the timeline. What a blow to an NL East powerhouse. I picked him to win the Cy Young. How do they cover it, Dan the Man, please?
They're going to need Max Fried. He was better in this last
Yes,
one.
he was,
He
yeah.
has not been Max Fried most of the season. They need him to be that guy. He's a free agent at the end of the year. They're a better team when he's their ace, and he needs to step up and be their ace. Charlie Morton's been brilliant.
Yeah.
Every year, Charlie Morton wants to go home. They just keep throwing $20 million at him. Come on, Charlie.
Come on, Charlie.
Yeah.
I'm trying to retire. No, you're not. Ronaldo Lopez has been great for them in the early going. Alex Anthopoulos has got a team that can win a World Series. He will address this
Yeah.
at
like he
deadline
always
at
does.
some
For
point.
the year he won, it was like 7 different outfielders.
But here's the thing. Ronaldo Lopez beat out Bryce Elder, who was an all-star, if I'm not mistaken. And he went down to AAA. He has pitched well in AAA. So I would feel like some version of him, Vines, Alan Winans made a start. They'll figure it out. But if I'm Bryce Elder, I'm like, I got an axe to grind, proving some people wrong here.
Vines goes tonight.
Yeah, he does go against the Astros. And there's going to be a need for pitching at the deadline, and Alex Anthopoulos will beat everyone to it. He's probably going to make a move
Smith
next
Shawver,
week. Yeah.
he's their big prospect.
Let's continue this pitching theme. Blake Snell had a rough outing against his former team, the Tampa Bay Rays. 4 innings, 7 earned. He walked 2 yesterday. Dero, it's difficult to, because he did come in so late. And as I said, he's going to figure it out eventually.
I'm going to relent to Dan because he was saying exactly that before we came on the air. Dan, talk to it.
He signed
not
March
having
19th.
Spring. You
And
can't
his
do
first start
sim
was
games
April
against,
8th.
and no fault of his own. He didn't get the deal he thought or I thought he should get. But
Every
when
pitcher
you don't
comes-
have spring.
That's it. Every pitcher comes into spring training, Lauren. They get like 3 or 4 side sessions. They throw a live BP, then they get into a game, and then the first or second game, we're talking early March. They're like, I've got a little bit of the dead arm. I'm working my way up to 2-3 innings, 50, 75 pitches. All of a sudden now, you go to a new team, you have no spring training, and I don't care what you do. And we can, whether you're a position player or pitcher, when you put cleats on in spring training the first week and you're standing around for 4 or 5 hours, you could do all the working out you want to do in the winter. As a pitcher, you get on the mound, you throw in your first spring training game, you are sore the next day. I don't care what you do, and I think he's going through that right now.
I remember Bobby Cox used to say all the time, spring training's to get my arms ready. That's it.
That's it.
You guys will figure it out from a hitting
And what's
standpoint.
hard, what he's doing now, Lauren, when you go through this in the grapefruit of the Catholics League, and you have a couple of bad ones, you shrug it off. But now you start walking around with a 9 ERA. You look up on the board, and inherently, listen, no hitter wants to start out 0 for 20. And the last thing you want to do as a pitcher, you have 15 innings, you have an ERA over 9. You start doing the math, thinking, okay, I have 3 or 4 good starts. I get it to 4, then I get it to 3-5. It is what it is.
He had a 6.92 last year, his first 3 starts, and how'd that
Ended up winning Cy Young. There you go. He'll figure it out.
He will figure it out. Congratulations in order to Michael Busch, who has homered in 4 consecutive games for the Cubs, and he is not the only one. Mark Derosa did it. They say it just sounds different off his bat.
I just think it's a great story. This is a first rounder in 2019 that came over in a deal with the Dodgers. And I just think he's getting a chance in spring training. It's something to be said when Craig Counsell looks at you in spring and says, I'm going to give you every opportunity to win this job. You go out, you earn it, they give it to you, and you get off to the start that he's gotten off to. The Cubbies are an interesting ball.
Dan, I want you to weigh in on Imanaga. No earned runs through his first 3 starts.
Of all the pitchers that have come over from Japan, to me, he's the most polished as far as that pitcher. And in his arsenal plays, he doesn't throw bullets. It's 93 to 94, but that pitch right there, it's up in the zone, it looks inviting, and he gets a lot of swings and misses. I'm a big fan, and why Max Fried, when he's good, lefties that pitch inside to righties have staying power. If you're just away, sink the ball, throwing a breaking ball, you'll get your brains beat out. But even like Nestor Cortez, he'll lull you to sleep with all that stuff, but he'll pound the ball in on righties. You have to pitch in on righties, and that's what he does very well.
Got that low arm slot, that upshoot, perceived velocity.
He pitches
extension,
with some fire too.
He does. Remember
I
on
love
opening
it.
day? Like,
Yeah.
look at this. He walked off and he stepped in a big old bucket of sassy, right?
Yeah, there you go. 16 strikeouts in 15 innings for Imanaga in his early Cubs career. Let's talk about the Oakland A's. They have won 3 consecutive series for the first time in 3 years. They beat the Washington Nationals yesterday, 7-6.
Come again?
Now, Dero, there's
That's
a lot.
insane, Robert.
There's a lot swirling around this franchise.
Oh, yeah.
We know that.
But the guys don't
none of
care.
none of it has to do with Mark Kotsay or those
Exactly.
guys. And I give Mark Kotsay and his coaching staff a tremendous amount of credit for rallying these guys and for the players themselves to actually play some good baseball.
And he rallied them yesterday.
He did. He got after
Wasn't
him.
happy with the way they were playing, and he got after them. Yeah, you know how I feel about Mark Kotsay. He's probably arguably the greatest college baseball player it's ever
Cal State Fulton,
walked.
right?
Yeah.
And then come in and close, dominate. So, but they have some interesting pieces on this team, and I'm telling you, the most interesting is Herman Munster coming out of the bullpen. Mr. Mason Miller coming out of the bullpen.
103.
Like he's playing catch. I mean, and a devastating breaking stuff. So I don't know if you've dove in on him.
Alex Cora, I did a game, a showcase game Friday night. And that is the one guy he wanted to tell me about. He said he has the nastiest stuff of any guy we've seen. He goes, how can you hit 101 to 103 with life? And he said a devastating slider.
Exploding all over the place.
You can't cover both.
And they were playing terrible defense early. They've cleaned that up. So, yeah. Shea Longalier's got a 3-homer game.
What'd you say, Nace? 15 strikeouts in how many innings? 8 innings.
Right.
Now, big-time stuff.
Yeah. So there you go. Oakland A's playing some good baseball. They've won 3 consecutive series for the first time in 3 years. All right, let's step aside. When we come back, Dan, please say.
There's not too many I would let do that.
Right?
It's the
I'm gonna let
Dan
it
rule.
slide.
How about that, right?
All right. Number 5.
Number 5, right, Bronco. He has been a godsend in
Yes,
a
he
year
has.
so far that hasn't gone all that well for the Astros on the mound. He has been a revelation. He needs to continue to pitch like this. Number 4,
This is a good.
Paul Blackburn. And he has come out of nowhere. He is throwing bullets. He's throwing strikes. One of the bright spots for the Oakland A's, they've got some guys in that bullpen that can bring it. He is off to a blazing start. To me, this was the sexy pick for a lot of people for the AL Cy Young
Yeah.
Award. Tarek Skubal. 88, 89 to 95 miles an hour, good off-speed pitch, has a really good changeup. He has been legit, and he's got a shot to win the Cy Young. The guy that I'm all over this guy, Reed Detmers. I know the Angels a couple of years ago, they drafted nothing but pitchers, and everybody's looking for staying power. Dero, he already has a no-hitter in his back pocket. He has elite stuff, 95 to 97, great slider, former first-round pick out of University of Louisville, the best thing. To me, this guy right now, Tyler Glass now. It has never been a question about the stuff. It's been about, can he be on the field enough? Last year, 120 innings, career high. He's put on a Dodger uni. His last start was brilliant. Punched out 14, didn't walk anybody in less than.
We're going relief pitch?
Yeah, relief pitchers. Yeah, I know you're going to. Cates. Yeah, who is it? The Guardians bullpen is stacked and loaded. If they were a bigger market right now, you'd say like these guys would be. Here's another guy. Hunter Guardians.
He looks like he's got the mean on.
He does. 95 to 97 up in the zone. Good, hard breaking ball. More importantly, both of these guys for the Guardians, strike throwers.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. This guy from the Mets, Reed Garrett. Reed Garrett. I don't know what this guy's done in the last 6 to 8 months, but he has transformed his stuff. Great off-speed pitches. Another guy throwing a lot of strikes, punching out a lot of tickets, and right now he's got it going on.
None of that short arm delivery.
I know. Now this guy cracks the list.
This guy can spin.
He is the most underrated reliever, in my opinion. He brings a sense of calm. Dave Roberts, he can use him if he has to get 4 outs. He doesn't like to do it. Another guy, strike thrower. But number 1 for me, Jason Foley. Dero, this guy would be a nightmare for you to have an AB. 98 to 100 with filthy movement. I mean, he throws a bowling
Get
ball
outta
sinker
here with that.
with a wipeout slider. So he'll run that
And
ball
he's got
in.
a mullet with a stash.
He's got everything. He's like ready to do a White Snake video.
Baseball man.
he's ready for a White Snake video,
He's
right?
not ready for Tawny Katane.
Look at this,
Rest
though.
in peace, right?
That's right.
R.I.P. What a far cry from what you would think.
Right?
Beginning of season
Dan,
baseball.
this is what always blows my mind. Relievers are fickle, right? Every year you're just seeing a massive turnover. But man, when we get to the postseason, those are the guys that come in and they pitch the toughest spots
They do.
they get no love.
It's the truth.
No love.
And when you get into October baseball, you need to have guys because starters are out in 5.
Yeah,
It's
here's
almost-
Hunter Gaddis. Our life's on the line.
Bingo.
By the way, his parents knew what they were doing when they named him Hunter. You see
Right.
that guy?
Jason
I asked
Foley
Dero this
looks-
question on Friday. What do starters have that relievers don't? And he said one pitch because we were
Yes.
talking about the transition from bullpen to the starting rotation. Is that what you think it is?
You have to have one dominant pitch that you can go out there with. If you don't have your second pitch, you could still be effective with it. You can't do that
As a starter, you gotta have
can't.
3.
You got to have 3.
As a reliever,
you started
you
out
could
as a
have 2.
starter, correct?
In the minor leagues, yes. They took the changeup away from me. I went to being a 2-pitch pitcher, fastball, slider. It was great. I think it's an easier.
So you welcome when they came to you and said we're going to put you in the bullpen. Did you welcome it? You did
no,
not.
I didn't at the time.
What was your initial reaction?
I was disappointed. I wanted to make the team. I made the team, but I made the team as the 5th starter. We had like 4 days off in the
And
month.
how
of
hard
April.
were you throwing?
91, 92.
And
then they took.
and then you went to the bullpen.
Oh, it just started coming. Like the velo
Really?
just started to pick up. Yeah, I was more. You know what?
Mechanics didn't change.
No,
you weren't
more
throwing like 10-pound dumbbells against a wall.
No, more. You know what it was? It was confidence. The more I started to throw, I started believing in my heater, and I was like, wow, I can get people out with this thing. Like
And
as
then-
a starter, you're always trying to figure out how to
How
get
do
to the
I keep
lineup the
going?
second and
How
third
do I
time.
stay in?
Like I got to conserve energy. It was like, you know what? The heck with that. I'm just going to let this thing eat, and it worked.
Well,
Yeah.
in a couple of weeks, Dan will be debuting his new DP Top 25, the top 25
Major
starting
adjustment.
Yeah. And I
pitchers
get just torched on social
next
media
month.
too.
Yes. And remember, he does it just once a month. But
I would have guessed 1 out of the 10 that you gave us,
Yeah.
which is so awesome.
Yeah.
all right, when we come back, we'll get you ready for Patriots Day. We're going to have some morning baseball.
It is a speed limit enforcement of 100 kilometers ahead of about 200 meters.